I want to start off first. Just can you give me a little bit of your story with catching? Obviously, I followed you throughout your career, Bruin to Bruin.
Yeah.
You're incredible. Can you just give me a little bit of like catching background, a little of the story there?
Yeah, I think my first memory catching, I've said this story before, but I walked out to my front yard. We had like this little patch of grass, and my sister Sashelle, she's the reason that I'm a catcher, and I think the reason she's a catcher is my dad. So they were working on blocking drills. I mean, we love blocking drills. And they were on this little patch of grass, and I saw her in her gear, and my dad was like pelting balls at her, and she was just blocking them. And I was like, that looks really tough, but kind of cool. I was like, so there was like a extra set of Sasha's old gear that was obviously smaller, and I put it on. I was like, they're not gonna tell me no. So I came out here with shins, and I was like, hey, can I try? And my dad was like, he kind of looked at Sasha and he was like, let's do it. Let's see if she could do it. So I got in a squat, and I remember my dad, like, I was so little, he like picked me up basically and like took my like feet out underneath me, and I got into a block position. I was like, that was fun. I liked it. So then I had my dad keep doing it. And little did I know that putting my shins on that time, I would never take them off after that. Like, it's stuck with me, and we've been catchers, and just that little patch of grass turned into a batting cage that my dad created for us. But it's always been us three just training. And then once my brother got into it, we started using baseballs, and it became us four, and then my mom would come out, and it was just a family affair. Like, it was just really nice to be able to be together like that. So that's kind of the start of my catching career. And yeah, I feel like catching has kind of evolved itself in my life. I remember being a travel ball player, and I was a catcher because I had such a great arm, and like it was kind of like just, it wasn't so refined back then. It was just kind of getting the job done. And then in college, I feel is when I started refining my skills a little bit more. Maybe you can relate to that like there was a lot more focus on catchers. At least at UCLA, just because Coach I was a catcher too. I feel like that, like, until then, I didn't really have that much focus in a practice for an organization as a catcher until I got to UCLA. And I feel like my skills just like kind of skyrocketed once we like focused on them. And then I feel like in the pro league, pitch calling became such a big thing. Like, all the pitchers wanted their catcher to pitch call, which was so like lucrative in college. I feel like I pitch called, and you probably pitch called, but it was like not a real thing, like for a lot of universities, let their catchers call because they had so much info. They'd rather just have the coaches call. But I think it's pretty cool to have catchers, right? It's like our mind is always going, and you're just kind of deciphering this little puzzle. But yeah, I feel like every step of the way, I feel like I've learned like a little nugget here and there from catching.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. I completely agree with you with the catching position. I feel like it has evolved so much, and
Yeah.
I feel like just relating from your experience, when you get into college, you really master your craft, especially when you have a head coach that was a catcher.
Exactly.
So that kind of helps out a little bit there.
Yeah, and they see the importance too, I feel, of like the catching position, because you had Coach Lisa, who's a pitcher that knows the importance of a catcher, and then Coach I, who just, wanted us to be the best. She'd come up with random baseball videos and be like, you're gonna frame like this, right? Like, it was like just random stuff, but just stuff to make us better.